You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Just a few moments ago, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris spoke to the nation. Here is how Joe Biden introduced his new running mate.
Americans, now let me introduce to you, for the first time, your next Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Kamala, the floor is yours.
Here you go. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. As I said, Joe, when you called me, I am incredibly honored by this responsibility, and I'm ready to get to work. I am ready to get to work. After the most competitive primary in history, the country received a resounding message that Joe was the person to lead us forward. And Joe, I'm so proud to stand with you. And I do so mindful of all the heroic and ambitious women before me, whose sacrifice, determination, and resilience makes my presence here today even possible. This is a moment of real consequence for America. Everything we care about, our economy, our health, our children, the kind of country we live in, it's all on the line. We're reeling from the worst public health crisis in a century. The president's mismanagement of the pandemic has plunged us into the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. And we're experiencing a moral reckoning with racism and systemic injustice that has brought a new coalition of conscience to the streets of our country, demanding change. America is crying out for leadership. Yet we have a president who cares more about himself than the people who elected him. A president who is making every challenge we face even more difficult to solve. But here's the good news. We don't have to accept the failed government of Donald Trump and Mike Pence. In just 83 days, we have a chance to choose a better future for our country. So, Joe, Dr. Biden, thank you for the trust you've placed in me.
All right, folks, that was hearing Kamala Harris today speaking there in Delaware. In her speech, she made the argument or presented the case against Donald Trump and Mike Pence, granting them 4 more years. Vice President Joe Biden also had his remarks. I think we have those. If so, go ahead and play it. Okay, so we're gonna have those in just a second. Let me bring in my panel right now to talk about this. A. Scott Bolden, former chair, National Bar Association Political Action Committee. Robert Patillo, executive director, Rainbow Push Coalition, Peachtree Street Project, and later will be joined by Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist and president emerita at Bennett College. I'll start with you, Robert. It's pretty funny, Robert, to see what's going on. So Republicans can't quite figure out what the hell. So you have Trump and his campaign saying she's too liberal. Then you have the RNC saying, well, liberals are not happy with her. Then you have them saying that she's undermining Joe Biden. And then other people are saying, no, she's actually throwing Joe over a cliff. I mean, they have no idea what the hell to even say. So the campaign and the RNC and Trump, they're like all over the place trying to figure out how to tag Senator Kamala Harris.
Well, I think it's part of what happened in the primary season where nobody really defined themselves. Nobody had defined positions. You had Bernie and Elizabeth Warren. You knew exactly where they stood on every single issue. But then with Kamala Harris, with Joe Biden, had a shifting scale as they went from being kind of the centrist, moderate wing of the party, and then slowly incorporating many of the more progressive aspects of the campaign as things went on. So Republicans don't really have a clear, definite attack that they can go on. And then many of the internet Republicans have gone directly into sexism, racism, scandal as their Cassia Belli to address these issues. But what they don't want to do is address policy issues that Americans really care about. You have 5 million people who have been infected with a disease and no national health care system. You have 160,000 dead people and no plan on mitigation or no plan on therapeutics, no concrete national plan on this. You have 50 million plus people unemployed, and we're still doing piecemeal trickle-in stimulus programs in order to ameliorate these issues. So they are trying to find something that they can lay their hat on, but not addressing the main issues the American people care about, which is corona. Normally, it's the economy is stupid, but this election is going to be corona stupid.
Look, Scott, it's hilarious to see this reaction. And yeah, on one hand, it's a little hard to label them as these flaming liberals, which Republicans love. The reality is that you can be slightly to the right of Republicans. Doesn't matter. They're going to call you a hardcore liberal, but that's the attacks they're trying on these two because, again, they want to be able to say they're going to destroy the world, and that's what we're actually seeing.
Yeah, this was the last vice presidential nominee that the GOP wanted to see. She was criticized for being undefined when you had 20 Democrats running for the presidency. She took on some policies to the left, but primarily she's a Democratic centrist. That's working for her now. I was doing another conservative network yesterday, and I'm having this debate, and they argued that she was too liberal and too conservative when it came to prosecuting African Americans when she was a prosecutor, and that she was too liberal because she ran left of center because she seemed to endorse Medicaid or Medicare for all. And so they're going to have a hard time picking a name for her, making an aggressive assault on her because she is undefined, only to the extent that she's a center. She gets the votes out. She's a fierce debater, and she's a proven fundraiser. I like this match with Joe Biden. I think she's going to play her part. She's not going to get ahead of him, and both of them are going to complement each other on not only policy, but beating Trump. And that's what the Democrats need right now.
Well, I have seen some absolutely hilarious things, but I'm gonna play the Ari Fleischer soundbite. In just a little bit to get to that. But again, what's interesting here is you're seeing the attacks. You're seeing how they're trying to go after both of them. And so, Robert, when she says we're going to prosecute the case, I'm sorry, Republicans, please show me how you want to defend 160,000 plus Americans dying because of COVID, and you still have no national testing plan. Please, Trump wants to tout what he's done for black people and unemployment. Let's see, when you came in, it was at 7.7%. It's now at 14.6%. You can't go, well, that's only because of coronavirus, when it had been going up for 4 months before COVID-19.
Well, another thing that we have to talk about is for the last several months, we've heard Republicans address the issue of police, back the blue. We want law enforcement. That's who we were behind, law and order. And now you have prosecutors on the ticket. And now they flipped 180 degrees to say, well, look at all the people that she prosecuted while she was prosecutor. They are having a difficult time defining what exactly they are running on, what exactly they believe in. And to Scott's point, what they describe as liberal. Any other president who had done what Donald Trump has done in the last 3 years, they will be screaming socialism. He's sending U.S. troops into cities to put down protests. He's raised the deficit by trillions of dollars. We had a $1.5 trillion spending bill, which was put into place with no governmental offsets to cut the deficit. He's ballooned the national debt. All those things are the liberal boogeymen that conservatives have been warning us about for decades now. He banned bump stocks in circumvention of Second Amendment rights. These are things that they have accused Democrats of wanting to do for generations. Now Trump has done them, and they have to find a way to paint somebody to be to the left of him when he's running in territory that Democrats traditionally have run in. And I think they're going to run into a problem with that with Kamala Harris because, quite frankly, because most of her record is as a lawyer, as a law enforcement personnel, as a prosecutor, as opposed to being in the legislature where you have an extensive record of voting over 20 or 30 or 40 years like Joe Biden. It's hard to paint her as this hardcore leftist that they want to because she doesn't have that voting record. Most of her record is in law and order and prosecuting and bringing down prescription drug prices and bringing down large corporations that have been fighting against homeowners. So it's going to be a difficult attempt to define her, and we'll see how long it takes for Republicans to dive directly into the dirt when they run out of policy issues to attack.
And you see, they need a political boogeyman. The only reason that Donald Trump won in 2016, Hillary Clinton wasn't a great candidate, and they made her his political boogeyman. And I've always said for the last 3 or 4 years, who's going to be his political boogeyman in 2020, despite his failed record of leadership across the board? And now everything he's thrown at Biden doesn't stick. And now he is a vice president candidate that nothing is going to stick against her. You know this because of the scattershot approach. They should have had this theme narrowed months before now. So that dog's just not going to hunt. And I got to tell you, she's going to give Pence fits in the debate. She's going to give the Republicans fits on the campaign trail. She's a history-making candidate. She's bright. She's fierce. She's committed. She's a Howard graduate. I mean, I got to tell you, she checks all the boxes and more. And we're going to be proud of this campaign, and we're going to be proud of this Democratic leadership in 2021, I think.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.